I think today's forum was a great day. It's always good to meet people physically, to talk, to share knowledge, to share challenges, but also to share progress on how we're working with sustainability within the construction sector in the Nordic. The Nordic Council of Ministers have a vision of 2030 of being the most sustainable and integrated region in the world. So that's what we're working towards. And of course, there's a big challenge within the construction sector. But I think looking forward, we should work even harder within the construction sector to work even more closely in the Nordic countries. I think in the past few years, the program Nordic Sustainable Construction has shown a lot of progress. But of course, there's still areas that we need to work even harder on. But now we have a great input on how we should proceed. And I'm really looking forward to see what we can achieve together within the next 6 years before we hit 2030. So hopefully we will be there in 2030. The different people or actors, you could say, here today show that there's a big interest in progressing on this area. And I think it was really encouraging also to hear from the more private sector about how they see, for example, harmonization when we talk about climate and regulation, their wishes for what we could do in the Nordic that could help them to be even more competitive and have more free-flowing workforces in the Nordic across the borders. So I think that was really fruitful information and feedback we got. Today here at the Climate Forum, we also had the opportunity to hear from EU what the regulation is coming from EU going forward. And I think regarding EU, the Nordic countries have great opportunities to work together because we can actually act as a real test bed for imposing new regulation on climate. Looking forward with the work within construction within the Nordic Council of Ministers, we are specifically looking at 3 areas. That's climate, circular economy and digitization. And across that, how we work with the EU. The housing and construction ministers from the Nordic countries have just confirmed that. And they're asking the Nordic countries to work even more closely on these topic areas going forward. So that's what we'll focus on for the next 3 to 6 years.